Well, hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to the Wedding Florist Social Podcast. It's been quite a break, and I'm really glad to be back. For various health things, I've had to take a little break with the podcast, and I've been meaning to get this going for such a while in its new YouTube home. But I'm really, really glad to be back. Really, really happy to be seeing to you all, and I hope you've had a great last year, because it has been a year since we did the last one. But yeah, welcome back. Really, really happy to have this going again, and I hope you enjoy it too. So yeah, we're going to kickstart the new podcast in its new home, its YouTube house, with a bit of a chat about working too hard, because it can be a lot as a self-employed business owner, can't it? It can be really tough as a solopreneur, as the saying goes, as a new wedding florist, especially. Basically, I wanted to talk about this because I was invited onto a radio show last night. I was actually on BBC Radio at 11 o'clock at night. Ironically, pulling a late one on a chat about workaholism. So, yeah, so that was that was great. That was great fun. There was myself and a panel of two others, and I really enjoyed it. There was various points of view on working too much, how it can affect you, and some people, really loved working, like myself. And I kind of came on as a to sort of, from the point of view of the self-employed community, really, and also as someone with ADHD symptoms as well. I added an extra little point of view from it, really. So it was really interesting. I really enjoyed it, and I just thought it was a really good topic for a podcast today, because I think a lot of us experience this, don't you? So whether you've been in business 30 years or 30 minutes, it can be really tough. You feel like you need to take everything on. So working for yourself is fantastic. You've left this job at the bank or the school or wherever it is you used to work, or maybe you're still slightly working there till the business takes off. But you soon figure out that it's hard work, right? It can be very hard work. It's more than you bargained for, perhaps, and you don't realize that initially when you get into floristry, that it's not just playing with pretty flowers, I suppose. It's but you do it because you love it, right? But because you're so passionate about it, that can often translate into working too hard. And sure, you've got to work hard. You've got to hustle, right, for to get this business of yours up and running, and to get those clients in, those wedding bookings in. But when it crosses the line into being detrimental to perhaps other areas of your life, or maybe your family, your mental health, or physical health even, then that's when something needs to be done about it. In fact, one of the guests on the panel last night was she was actually a psychotherapist, and she mentioned about your, she'll word it much better than I did, but the central nervous system. And by the time your body has actually presented these physical symptoms from stress and too much hard work, whether it be muscular symptoms, or your skin breaks out, or anything like that, that's actually the end stage. That's you should be doing something about it a lot earlier than when you start showing physical symptoms effectively, because it's actually really hard to get back to normal once you've actually reached that stage. So taking care of yourself along the way is much better, like prevention rather than cure, I suppose, is a much better way to to sort of combat this, I suppose. So yeah, we love working for ourselves. I personally, I've worked for myself for a long time, been doing this 13 years at the time of recording this, but it's not been easy, right? It is hard as a self-employed person. As creative people as well, we love what we do. We get very passionate about it, and we take things very personally sometimes as well. So we do everything we can, don't we? I've heard a lot of advice out there about time boxing. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but time boxing. So like if you just structure your day, just put time in your diary, do an hour of emails on the morning, and then do an hour of this, and then set aside a couple of hours in the afternoon to do, stuff that gets in future business, and whatever that, so like time boxing yourself and organizing your day in such a way. And whilst that's great for some, and if that works for you, I would definitely recommend it. It however doesn't work for me. As a creative person, as an ADHD, my brain just doesn't work like that. I can't control when my creative buzz kicks in. It can be 11 o'clock at night, and I get a great idea for a social media post, or something that I want to do for the business in a few months' time, or maybe a beautiful flower that'll look great on that wedding next week, or whatever it is. I often find that I can't control that. If I set aside like an hour between 1 and 2 in the afternoon to come up with new business ideas, it would be crickets. I can't control when that happens. So that sort of approach doesn't work for me. However, it does work for some. So it depends on your personality. There's not a one size fits all sort of solution to this. But I think if you are finding that, maybe psychologically or physically you're feeling that overwhelm right now, then it's time to do something about it, especially if you're just starting out. And it's good to develop good habits straight away. Start the way you mean to go on, I suppose, isn't it? So what can we do? Well, develop healthy habits from the start is great if you can. But what can we do to develop those healthy habits, no matter what stage of business you're at, no matter how you're feeling, how long you've been doing this or anything like that. I would say the first thing, and something that does help me, is setting healthy boundaries. So what do I mean by that? Not only in terms of business, so but personal life as well. So if you an example of a boundary with clients and business and stuff would be only answering emails within a certain time of day, 9 till 5, whatever it is for you. Or having an exact process to follow, and that is huge. so from inquiry through to like booking, etc., etc. Having your process to follow is you absolutely need it, because you'll often get people trying to like pull you different ways. You'll get people sort of messaging you on Instagram or WhatsApp, even, for example, for the first time, which always baffles me, like when people just WhatsApp you out of the blue and you've never heard from them before. Like, please just email. But they if they're just sort of WhatsApping you for the first time and saying, oh, hi, I'm getting married, and then they send you a million pictures, and that's great. But if that's not your process, then please, set those boundaries for yourself and say, thanks so much, that's great, thanks for inquiring, but here's the link to my online inquiry form, or whatever your process is. Lead them down that process rather than letting them take you away from yours. And because that in itself can be very stressful. It can create more work, especially if you're going backwards and forwards via Messenger all the time. I would definitely not recommend that as a form of getting a quote out. It's great for an initial reach out, but it's not a process of getting a quote out, for sure. So that can be stressful. It can be hard work for you. It can take you away from your family in an evenings, if someone's inquiring about an order or a booking or whatever it is. And, you're trying to like do the kids' pack lunches for the next day, or, actually you've got 2 minutes to do some housework before the kids come home from school, or, whatever it is for you. You've got to set healthy boundaries. Take the customer through the this inquiring client through your process, rather than letting them drag you away from yours. And so you retain the control, basically, not them. So definitely setting healthy boundaries is very much something I would advise. But also setting those boundaries for yourself as a person as well, with with your family. So you might have, husband or wife, partner, whoever it is, your family need to be kind of with you on this. It's really important to have their support, and it's really important that they're on board to, and the know what to do, what you're up to, and kind of you have to sort of tell them, like, I need this time to work. I need your support in this. Like, so and so, Auntie Susan, can you look after the kids this afternoon or every Thursday afternoon, because I need to. It's important for me to have that time on my business. That's how you can help me in my new venture. Things like that. You've got to sort of. Don't be afraid to sort of put yourself first a little bit. There's no shame in that, and just sort of say, hey, I need this time, and I need to be able to do this. So yeah, boundaries from both a personal and a business point of view, I would say. I would say the other tip I would give is to give yourself a bit of slack as well. Just cut that slack a little bit for yourself. And remember that, when an email comes through at like 11 o'clock at night, it does not mean that the client wants you to reply to them straight away. I'm often sending things at crazy times simply because I've remembered. It's not because I expect someone to immediately, get out of bed and reply to me at like 11 o'clock at night. They're just sending it while they remember, or while they've got time to do so. So, don't feel that stress. You get an email inquiry or an Instagram DM or whatever it is. Don't feel like, oh my God, if I don't reply straight away, that client's going to go elsewhere, or they're going to get really sick of me and wish they'd never booked me, or, give me a bad review at the end of after the wedding happens, or anything like that. That is simply not the case. And to be fair, if somebody did email you at 11 o'clock at night and you didn't see it till 8 o'clock the next morning and they'd already gone elsewhere, is that the sort of client you really want anyway? Like, it's not for me. So, just give yourself a little bit of slack in that respect. And, it is okay to just leave that email till the next morning. It is okay to sort of switch off and maybe do the bedtime routine with the kids, or whatever it is you do of an evening, and you do your social media or your emails or whatever it is, to after that in your own time, when it's convenient for you, basically. Because probably the reason you got into this is because you want a job that fits around your life, rather than doing the 9 till 5 or whatever it is. So that would be my two big bits of advice for this. As someone who's been through a lot of health stuff over the past few years, and obviously we've all been through the whole COVID thing as well. Some of you started businesses before that, and some of you started businesses as a result of that. So you're very new to it, and you're just seeing kind of you don't know life before that, but either way, it's been a really weird time for people, right? So but as someone who's been through health stuff and COVID and grief and all sorts of things these past few years, I can tell you that life is more important. It really is. And as much as I'm passionate about my business, and I have to work hard to really drive it forward, there's nothing like a cancer diagnosis to wake you up a little bit and to make you realize, what, actually, these relationships with people in my life are just more important than, doing that social media post at 11 o'clock at night or whatever it is. So it's important to get that balance. And I know it's super hard. I find it super hard because my sort of ADHD symptoms, it makes me focus on things, and I can't control when that happens always. Sometimes I can say, right, no, Vicky, don't start that thing, because you'll get too focused on it, and you'll not be able to come away from it. So sometimes I am able to sort of stop it when I recognize it, but other times it's like I'm in it, and then I actually don't even realize what's going on around me. And my poor husband's sitting there watching the TV by himself instead of the thing we were supposed to be watching together, and that sort of thing. So it's getting that balance. I'm working on it, and I can tell you that it's super important because those relationships you have with people, those little memories that you build up throughout your life are so important. The kids aren't going to be young forever. When you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be sitting there thinking, "Oh, I'm so glad I bagged that client." You're going to remember the nice things, right? You're going to remember, you're going to value the sort of relationships you built with people, those memories that you built with people, the holidays you had together, and the little things as well, eating together and all of that sort of stuff. So it is important to get that sort of balance and not become a total workaholic. So however that works for you, it's really important to do that. If you're just starting out, develop those healthy habits from the start. And I know it's tough when you're first starting out because it sort of feels like you're starting off in fifth gear. That's what I always liken it to. So, as if running a business wasn't hard enough, you've also got that added thing of like having to get yourself out there and get your name in front of people and get those clients in. And you've got that pressure, haven't you? Because you've got to live, and you've made this huge leap from running your own working for someone and then to running your own business. So you're like, it's got to work. I've got to make this work. But it is hard, and in the wedding industry, you've got to, it doesn't happen straight away, right? So you might get your name out there, but the weddings don't start happening until the year after that, for example. So there's that sort of slight delay, I find, sometimes as well. So you might end up doing gift bouquets or funerals or other floristry services, basically, to kind of fill that gap, when actually that's sort of really low profit stuff for a lot of work, actually, because you probably haven't got your website sorted yet. So you're probably just taking messages via social media for these orders, which then takes up 2 hours of your night going backwards and forwards, and then organizing payment links and that sort of thing. So it's, yeah, I get why people do it, but it can seem, it's a bit counterintuitive, I think, counterproductive, sorry. So yeah, work-life balance. What's it all about, eh? Please do let me know. Comment below, or drop me an email at vicky@weddingfloristmentor.com, or comment below. Either way, let me know. Do you have problems with working too hard? Do you find it stressful, overly stressful? Is it affecting other areas of your life? Is it affecting your relationships with other people? Are you wishing you'd never started the business? Are you really scared that you'll actually, despite all this hard work, never get where you need to be? Let me know. I would love to hear from you. In the meantime, check out the podcast description for a couple of useful links. I do have a 5 steps to being a great wedding florist free guide for you. So please feel free to download that, click the link, and enjoy. So yeah, I will leave you to it. So glad to be back again on the Wedding Florist Social Podcast. There'll be at least one of these a month from now on, or whatever my ADHD brain decides it gets a good idea. So so take care, guys, and flower on.